seeing life for the first time. The world you see is the world you build. Good morning, beloved community. Our consciousness is creative. We just sang, our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Thoughts, beliefs, emotional patterns, and our worldview all shape our experience. Transformation begins within us. I'd like to share a couple of Bible verses with you. The first is from the Hebrew Scriptures, the book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 7. And I'll quote from the King James Version. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. And the next is from the Gospel according to Thomas, saying number 22. When you make the two one, then you will enter the kingdom. And I'll just leave those to percolate for a little while. We can hold those verses in our mind as we hear the rest of this sermon. But I'd like to go and tell you a joke next. It used to be my habit to have a joke ready every Sunday, and I'm kind of bringing that back because I heard a little birdie say in my ear that we like the little jokes, even if they're not so funny. So, a man says to his therapist, everywhere I go, people ignore me. And the therapist says, next. Yeah, I even got a chuckle on that one. That's good. What a change from last week. You know, it's a problem with the joke when you have to explain the punchline. This next story, it might be thought of as a joke too. So this fellow was moving into a new town. And he walked up to the drugstore, and there was an old-timer sitting there. And he thought it the perfect time to ask about the people in the new town. So he asked this old-timer sitting in front of the drugstore, what are the people like in this town? And the old-timer, he responded with a question. Well, how were the people in the town you came from? And the guy, he says, well, they were pretty unfriendly and argumentative. And the old-timer, he replies, I'm afraid that's what the people in this town are like too. And then later on in the day, another person who was new to the town approached the same man in front of the same drugstore and asked the same question. What are people like in this town? And he says, well, what were they like in the town you just came from? And he says, well, they're friendly and helpful. And the old guy, he says, that's exactly what they're like in this town. You see, we do create our experience. It wasn't too long ago. Well, maybe it was. Time flies. Perhaps 5 or 6 years ago, I was attending a transformative or one of these workshops with Renee Beckham where you set your vision for the next year. And you make this vision board as one of the exercises that she had us to do. And I really decided that I needed a new job. And so I began to see the vision of what I wanted in a job. And I realized through the day that I really have the job that I want. I just need to see these traits in the people that I'm working with, because I work with good people. And it's a 6-minute drive from my house, and I had all of these things. And so I began to have an affirmation in my consciousness as I got out of my car and walked towards the door to go in. I affirmed, today I will earn my wings. Thinking of Unity Wings and thinking of that advertisement for, I'm not sure what airline it even was. It might have been Pan Am. I don't know. But today I will earn my wings. And I took a deep breath as I was walking to the door, cleared my consciousness of the drive over, and just went in. And you know, I got a new job, but I worked at the same place. And I've now been there for 14 years. So it's our experience that is created by our thoughts. Our minds are not a neutral thing. Thoughts aren't only private mental events. There is energy in our thoughts. And everything that we're seeing, everything that we experience is also energy. And our thoughts are energetic patterns. And our thoughts participate in the ongoing creation that we are experiencing. Fear tends to generate a fearful world. Resentment generates separation. Gratitude reorganizes our perception. This isn't magic. It is a conscious participation in the pattern, the energetic pattern that is the universe. So how does Jesus weigh in here? Remember that one verse, the saying from the Gospel of Thomas. Making two into one. This points towards an integration, the oneness that the world is, moving from our separate self, where we see everything as something that is outside of us, to our authentic self, which knows everything as a oneness, as a whole. This integrated self is our experience as me. The world, everything, the universe as me. It is open to receive and bring forth from us the divine flow, Spirit. Separate self lives in conflict, state of constriction. Whatever we're practicing is what we're reinforcing in the patterns of our consciousness, in the neural network that is all of these billions of nerve cells that make up our brain. But not only our brain in our head, but you know there's a neural center in our heart. It's on the back side of our heart. And there's another one in our solar plexus. And all of these neural patterns, this interconnection, generates our experience and has an effect on how we take in the events of the world. And it is our practice that allows us to make a change. We can't just say an affirmation one time and think that we're going to be different. But if we continue this neural pattern, you know, Reverend Johnny Coleman said, it works if you work it. Because we have to work it. It's not enough to study it. It's not enough to hear it. It's not enough to say it one time or say we're going to do it. We have to do it. We don't learn a musical instrument in one practice. I think Debbie, I know myself, will attest to that. You have to repeat it until your hand learns how to make the motions. There becomes this connection. The neural pathways in my brain change as I learn to play guitar, so that I don't think about where I put my fingers anymore. They go there because there's this pattern that's been created. And that's how we transform, by generating new patterns in that neural network. A habit is simply being stuck in a rut. We go through that same neural pattern over and over again. Well, to get out of that rut, we have to start a new pattern. And we do that with repetition. We begin by blessing or expressing our gratitude before the evidence appears, grateful for what we do not even have yet. Forgive. Forgiving before the emotion that's in us that we don't really want to have can catch up. Go ahead and forgive. Embodying peace before the world around us shows that it is peaceful. By practicing how we change, by practicing, we change how we think. Our unconscious mind, it responds to repetition and to feeling. What we consistently rehearse becomes our embodied reality. We etch new neural pathways into our brain cells, our heart center, and our solar plexus, our body center. And now, as our consciousness evolves, compassion expands. When we were little, we started out having compassion for those around us, eventually to our tribe, our people. But as we get deeper and deeper into our consciousness, we begin to see in this oneness that only our higher self can see, care for all beings. Our life begins to be an experience of one unfolding reality that is constantly ongoing in change and in evolution. And so, as we mature spiritually, we become less judgmental of others because there is no other. We become more compassionate because what I'm experiencing is really myself. My experience of other is an experience of myself, an extension of my own being. And now, similar to last week, I'd like to leave you with the practice for next week. Each morning, I challenge, I offer, I invite you to ask yourself a question. What quality of consciousness do I want to embody today? Who am I becoming? What quality of consciousness do I want to embody today? Who am I becoming? In doing this, you're not only reacting to life, you begin to participate in the construction of reality through this consciousness. The world changes as you clean the lens. Remember, I taught several times on the glass on the lantern. The light comes forth from the lantern, from our own heart, but also we see the world out there is colored by the stuff that's on that glass. Those are the filters that we experience the world through. So we want to clean that lens. And that's the purpose of asking these questions in the morning. What quality of consciousness do I want to embody today? Have your answer. Who am I becoming? Same answer. seeing the world for the first time. The world you see is the world you build.